Hey there, Blaine Bond, Tucson, Arizona with eXp Realty, and welcome back to Living in Tucson, your Tucson real estate connection. It's that time again. Let's break down the July 2025 Tucson housing market report. Rates, pricing, sales activity. It's all quite flat, but let's dive in. Mortgage application index. The first thing we like to look at each and every month is the mortgage application index. And we got a slight bounce in late of July 2025 by 3.1%, which the week before was actually down 3.8%. Rates pulled back slightly, which gave buyers a little bit of a nudge, and refinancing jumped 5.1%, and purchase applications rose 1.5%. And speaking of mortgage rates, let's dive into those real quick before we jump into local trends. As of early August, the 30-year fixed is sitting around 6.63%, with the 15-year right around 5.75%. We're seeing a little bit of rate volatility, and it's clearly impacting buyers' activity and affordability. And so here's a quick tip, because usually we display just the national averages, and not all lenders offer the same rates that you see as national averages. There are several types of mortgage lenders. First, you have the mortgage broker, which shop multiple wholesale lenders to find the best deal and can sometimes get lower than average rates. And then you have mortgage bankers who lend their own money through one bank's program, faster approvals, but fewer product options. Then there are credit unions, which are member owned and can offer competitive rates or lower fees, though the loan programs may be more limited. Then you have your online lenders. These are often my least favorite. Broadly speaking, I've worked with some buyers who've had some great ones where the online lenders actually do communicate with us realtors who are here on the ground. But online lenders, they do have less overhead, which means they can have sharper rates, but customer service can quite vary. Because each type has its different costs, investor resources, guidelines, rates can vary, and sometimes even save you a noticeable amount each month. So the takeaway is shop around, especially if you're in the market where a very fraction of a percentage counts. The first local number that we like to cover is percentage of list. Percentage of list is when a seller lists a home in the MLS, what percentage of the list price are they getting? This is based on the final list price and does not include price reductions, which we'll cover later on. On average, homes in July sold for 97.85% of their list price. That's roughly 2.15% under asking and down slightly from last year. It's another sign that buyers are negotiating more and sellers need to price strategically from the start. Next up is days on market. Days on market measures from the time that the home is listed in the MLS to when it goes under contract, not the time it takes to close. The typical contract period is right around 30 days, but this is always negotiated up front. Sometimes you'll see cumulative days on market, which includes the total time a home has been listed, and if it fell off a contract earlier, that it will be relisted, the days on market will refresh, but they'll still keep counting the cumulative days on market. So sometimes you'll see a home that's been listed for 28 days. If you actually look at the history, it'll have CDOM, and sometimes that'll be up to 6 months. So for July, the median was 28 days, up 6 days from last year, showing buyers are taking a little bit longer and sellers are having to stay competitive on price. Next, let's dive into price per square foot or dollar per square foot. This is a base key metric when valuing any home or any property. And this is done by taking the overall square footage of the home. And this only includes livable square footage. This does not include garage or patios or any extra space that isn't livable, such as an unfinished basement. Now, we don't have a lot of basements here in Arizona, but I just wanted to mention that. So you take the square footage of the home and divide it by the price, and then you get your dollar per square foot. So the average price per square foot across all property types in Tucson is right around $227, which is actually down 2.4% year over year. Now, that's a modest pullback, reflecting a bit more buyer caution and softening in demand in certain price points. Now, we like to cover the median home sales price here in Tucson. For single family homes, the median home sales price came in at $375,000, which is up only 0.1% from this time last year. For townhomes and condos, the median home sales price was $258,000, which is up 2.4%. And the segment is holding steady thanks to relative affordability and interest from both downsizers and investors. But if you've been watching our monthly market update videos, I did dive into the affordability option and sometimes the lendability struggles when it comes to townhomes and condos. Next up is home inventory, economics 101, supply and demand. Right now, we have 2,881 active listings here in Tucson, which is up from earlier this year. The month supply sits at 3.61 months, which is still a buyer's market, but the highest we've seen in months. And that means if no new home listed in the MLS today, we would sell out in just about 4 months. Now, I've been using the word flat quite a bit when it comes to mortgage rates, home pricing, and sales activity. And here are some charts to show what I mean. First, let's look at the 2-year data set for here in Tucson. Here you'll see from January 2024 to today, we've seen a complete flattening out of single family home values. Now, even though it's often painful for many of us, let's step back in time 10 years, which shows the plateauing of home values this past year. Here, we see a sharp uptick in 2020 when rates hit an all-time low, some continued upward trajectory into 2022, and a softening these past few years. But we're not seeing a pullback that many of you have been anticipating. Historically in the US, home appreciation trends from 3 to 5% per year. The last decade averaged closer to 6 to 7%, and the last 5 years surged ahead at 8 to 9% annually, which was mostly due to the 2020 stimulated COVID market. But looking at the past year, we're not really seeing that much in appreciation. And when I talk to people every day about pricing and price reduction trend hitting about 50% of all homes, but I personally would not call this a pullback, but more of a settling down, which is unfortunate for both homeowners and prospective buyers. This kind of steady, balanced market can be frustrating, but it's also when the best deals are made if you know where to look. And that's where having the right strategy makes the biggest difference. My past 5 buyer represented transactions have all saved my buyers thousands to tens of thousands of dollars. This isn't too good of news for sellers out there, but for any buyer who's sitting on the sidelines right now, just take a peek at this chart and let me know your thoughts. Yes, home values have increased significantly these past years, but so have rental rates. So if you're waiting for a massive change in the market right now, just know you're not the only one. And if that change does occur, competition will be far more fierce than it is today. Just ask me how 2020 was for my buyers. Now, I know I just touched on it, but let's take a peek at price drops for July. 48% of active listings had at least one price drop, with the median of about 19 days before adjusting. The average price reduction was about 6%. Of the 798 total homes sold, 358 had price reductions, averaging at about 6.6% from the original list price. And it's important to note, like I just touched on, a price reduction for the asking price on the MLS doesn't necessarily reflect the home values. A lot of people are trying to ride up that natural 4 to 5, sometimes 6% appreciation year over year, and they're just not capturing that value add on the back end of their home. When they do the price reduction, they're actually more settling down to the most accurate price for the value of their home. That's why we keep hammering every single month that the best thing to do when you list your house to get the most money in the quicker amount of time is to price your home accurately. Trying to over capture the value of your home only increases your days on market. You're going to hit that price reduction, and it's going to take probably up to a month to get an offer on your home. All right, in editing, I realized I forgot this segment. So as of right now, 8/10/25, for the total amount of active listings for single family homes, we have 2,193. We have 251 townhomes, 117 manufactured homes, 288 condos, and 32 mobile homes. So that's a wrap for the Tucson Housing Market Report for July of 2025. Inventory is climbing a little bit. Days on market are up, and nearly half of listings have price drops. So if you're buying, you've got more choices and negotiating power. And if you're selling, the right price from the start is the key to a fast sale. If you'd like a hyper-local breakdown for your specific neighborhood or price point, reach out at any time. Please leave us an internet high five on your way out. And if you're not yet, please consider subscribing and ring that bell icon so you don't miss next month's market update. And in the meantime, make it a great day.
Buying or selling a home is one of the biggest decisions you'll ever make. That's why you need a local Tucson expert real estate partner. With all the exciting reasons you have for buying a home, one of the biggest reasons is it can dramatically increase your family's wealth. So whether you're looking to purchase your first home, your next home, a second home, an investment property, or maybe you want to sell your home, choosing an experienced real estate expert to help you will make it a smooth and easy process. And choosing the right realtor can make the difference of more money in your pocket after closing. So whether you're a first-time home buyer or a seasoned investor, or maybe just interested in knowing what your home's worth, contact Tyler Ford and Team today. Call Tyler Ford and Team today at 520-775-3400. That's 520-775-3400.